Good day. This is Tim Curtis, Town Manager of the Town of Madison. I'd like to take just a few minutes to speak to you about the upcoming Madison Annual Town Meeting, which will be Monday, the 7th of June at 7 p.m. It is going to be held at the Junior High Auditorium, like we typically do. So with some of the COVID restrictions in mind, we are having an in-person meeting in the auditorium. Under the governor's latest regulations, we should be able to have an adequate capacity there, so if people can sit adequately spaced apart. It will require face masks because we will be indoors, but it'll be a typical town meeting in all those other respects. It will not have a Zoom feature, so you will not be able to remote in from home to watch or participate. So it'll be an in-person town meeting, 7 o'clock at the Junior High Auditorium on Monday night, the 7th of June. The budget for this year is coming in a few dollars less than last year. In fact, most of the budgets for the town, the county, and the school are coming in flat or lower than last year. Some of the ordinance changes that will be on the town meeting agenda, I think I'd like to give you the opportunity to learn a little bit more about those. The Madison Planning Board has done a great amount of work to come up with changes to the site review process. Those changes are going to be available on a 2-page summary, and of course we'll have the entire 40-page site review ordinance for you to review at the town office ahead of the town meeting, and we might even provide some extra copies at the town meeting on that Monday night. Particularly, this has been an effort to try to streamline the site review process, which is for commercial buildings, and we've eliminated some older verbiage that complicated things and tried to make it both accountable for the planning board to be able to do their jobs and make sure that we retain high standards, and more business friendly. In doing so, we had to move items from a junkyard ordinance to allow for the planning board to have more oversight of that. The town of Madison did review an application for a junkyard this past year. Ultimately, we found that that application did not meet the standards, and that application was denied. The planning board was involved, but according to our ordinances, the select board has to have the ultimate control over a junkyard or salvage yard type ordinance. So we've changed those ordinances a little bit to give the planning board more input on the process, but retaining that the select board has the final authority on those items. And probably one of the more talked about ordinances that we're looking at discussing at town meeting this year has to do with needle exchange programs. Some of our neighbors in Skowhegan and up in Solon have brought to their town meetings in the past regulations or prohibitions for needle exchange programs. The selectmen had a chance to look at both of them and hold public hearings. They have decided to go with a prohibition ordinance which would prohibit needle exchange programs where dirty needles from drug users or even dirty needles from people that are using it for medicinal purposes can be exchanged for clean needles at a location in Madison. Some of the controversy around that came when mobile units were potentially being dispatched to Skowhegan and other parts of our area, and that caused some concern where people could exchange dirty needles for clean needles without having a brick and mortar building that could be regulated by town standards. So the Madison Select Board has decided to do a prohibition ordinance against needle exchange programs, whether they be mobile or brick and mortar in Madison. So that will be available for you to review prior to town meeting. We'll post this information on our website at madisonmaine.com, and of course we hope to see you out there doing your part of the public process at town meeting at 7 p.m. on Monday, June the 7th.